welcome back to my channel. I'm actually editing this video and I realized I never actually said hello to you. So hello, I am so happy you are here today. I am continuing on with my Dirt Cheap Meals series that I started last year when I was pregnant, which is insane to me. We're starting up this series again for the spring and hopefully into the summer. So make sure you're subscribed because you're not going to want to miss the Dirt Cheap meals that I have to share with you. Today's Dirt Cheap meal comes out to $1.25. It's insane for a meal. That's insane. I'm gonna share with you what I made. I'm gonna share with you some tips and tricks, how to save a little bit of money if you want to. And bonus, I've always promised you guys kind of like a use it up condiment challenge. Today I'm using up 2 condiments that desperately need used in my refrigerator. Yes, I know that the condiments are not in the overall price of this Dirt Cheap meal. However, I know everybody's got some condiments sitting around that you can just throw into this dish. Enjoy this video, give it a huge thumbs up, and subscribe if you're not already, and let's jump into today's Dirt Cheap meal. Here are the cost of my ingredients. Rice, for brown rice, is usually more expensive than white, so just a side note, if you want to make this even cheaper, try white rice. I just decided to pick up some brown rice because it sounded good to me. Veggies, you can also get those cheaper if you get them in season. You can use a different vegetable. Tofu, I know a lot of people comment like, oh, I don't like tofu. You could use anything else. If you want to do like a beans and rice meal here, you could, or you could do a boca burger. Those are usually really inexpensive. If you want a suggestion for something quote unquote different than tofu, leave me a comment down below. I'll try to help you out. So I am making double the rice that I'm actually going to use because I wanted to have it on hand for another recipe. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. And then I have like a half a cup of rice here. I have like 5 of these little bags just like that in my pantry. I need to put them in like a container, like take the rice and dump them into a container, because I was laughing when I went in my pantry and I was like, oh my gosh, I keep doing this. I keep making 2 cups of rice at a time because it's like the perfect amount. And then I have all these little leftovers. What I added to the rice was a veggie broth seasoning. It's like a powder that you would add to water. I really like it with rice. It's super inexpensive. I get it at the Dollar Tree when the Dollar Tree was just $1 per thing. It's like 30 servings of veggie broth for $1. Now it's like $1.25, super inexpensive, but it's really just like celery salt and sea salt, a couple other things in there too. I don't know. Tofu, super high in protein, something that we use weekly. And if you don't like it, if you found it and you're like, oh, I just don't like tofu, same. I used to just keep trying it. I find I really like it baked. I really like it crunchy. I really like it reheated in a skillet so it gets really crunchy. I also really like it in an air fryer. So if you have a little cornstarch on hand, I would actually throw some cornstarch into this recipe, about 2 or 3 tablespoons. Toss it with the seasoning. You don't even have to use any kind of condiment if you don't want to, if you don't have anything on hand, or a little bit of soy sauce would be really good. And then bake it on a baking sheet with a little bit of spray so it doesn't stick, and it'll be really, really crunchy on the outside. That does help. Also, I only like firm or extra firm tofu. So maybe if you haven't had firm tofu, I don't know. It doesn't really have much of a flavor. I know for a lot of people it's like a texture thing. If it has a good amount of salt and seasoning on it, I'm good. And then again, like I said, I like it crunchy. So what I do is I actually bake it, and then when I heat this meal up, I will throw it into a skillet and kind of make it like a stir fry so that my tofu is nice and crunchy on the outside. It helps. All right, so we have the sweet and tangy sauce. It has been opened. I didn't love it when I tried it. I don't even remember what recipe I got it for. This is one from Panda Express. I know that we usually get a different brand of like a sweet chili sauce that we actually do like. I didn't like this one. And it's about to expire in like a week. So I was like, oh, I gotta find a way to use it. So I'm using it in this recipe. Did add a little salt and garlic as well. Just some staples. And then I added a little touch of water just because the sauce is kind of like a jelly kind of. It's like really thick. And I kind of wanted to thin it down a little bit so it would kind of get on the tofu, and then it was baked. Worked out okay. You can put all that in a blender too. Like I said, you can throw some cornstarch on here, make it super crunchy. I didn't do any of that because again, I'm going to reheat it. And if you haven't tried air fried tofu, it's so good. I got to see if I have the recipe here on my channel, but I would slice it and then marinate it and then air fry it. Really good. I mean, if you make it right, it's so good. Again, I personally just like firm, extra firm. So we're putting on a baking sheet
with some spray, and then we're popping it in the oven 350 degrees for 30 minutes. If you want to do it high and quick, so it's extra, extra crunchy, I would do like 425 for about 18 minutes. It'll make it even crunchier. All right, so the veggies I put in I was really distracted this day. I did go ahead and let simmer in some water, kind of bring to a boil. It was a steamable package. I could just throw it in the microwave, save myself so much time in washing a dish, but that's how much I was paying attention because I was doing other things. Mom brain, distraction, yeah. Anyways, if you wanted to use a different vegetable, you could. Squash would be really good with this and probably be a little bit more inexpensive, especially when it's in season. Broccoli would be really good with this, cauliflower, whatever you like. Red peppers, green peppers, onions. I mean, with vegetables, I feel like you can always use whatever you have on hand too, like if you have your own garden. All right, so moving in, I'm adding a half a cup of brown rice to each. Again, I was inspired by this meal because I ordered a bunch of Foodie Fit meals. I want to say it was like at the beginning of the year. I don't know what exactly. I shared on Instagram, so I should go back and look at my archives. But I was super inspired by a lot of their meals that I got. And I find that if I get pre-made meals like that, which I'm very thankful I can fit those into my budget every so often. I don't want to fit them in every single week. I want to make my own foods. But by getting those meals, I was super, super inspired. And I have a whole list of recipes that I want to make under my dirt cheap meals. Because one of their meals is like usually $7.99 to $9.99, depending if you get like a small portion or a big portion. I made these for $1.25. That's incredible. All 4 of these meals cost less than one of their meals. So I had this General Tso's sauce, also need to use up. It expires in a week. So I added about a tablespoon of that to each of these meals. Again, this is so not necessary. This meal is so delicious without it. But like I kind of said in the intro, I get yelled at if I don't use seasoning. I get yelled at when I do. It's not that deep, guys. Okay? It's just for inspiration. It's just kind of to catch your attention and be like, ooh, I wonder what she's making for this price, to give you some inspiration. Grocery prices are different all over. I can't control grocery prices. You might be able to make this a lot cheaper. It might cost you a little bit more. I don't know. All I know is what I pay for groceries. So I'm adding enough tofu to make this about 22 grams of protein per meal, which is like really perfect for me. I try to hit at least 20 to 25 grams of protein per meal. So I added just enough tofu for that. Love that. Love that brown rice has a little bit of protein in it. The vegetables were really good. Overall, this was such a simple meal, but it just hits. I feel like when I get overcomplicated with my meals, when I try to think too hard on what to make, life becomes complicated. When I make things really simple, life becomes simple. And that's kind of one of the things I want to inspire and encourage you to do. Like, you really do not have to overthink it. This looks like a meal that I would get at Foodie Fit and spend $7.99 on. This looks like something that would come from a meal prep company that would cost me way more. By the way, containers are linked down below if you want to make yourself look like a professional meal prep company. They're really inexpensive. I paid like 15 cents a container for these. Love that, because if I bring them to work and lose them, they crack. I don't have to worry about it. Anyways, thank you for being here. Make sure you're subscribed. I will have another Dirt Cheap Meals video out soon.